Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great hump day. It is Wednesday. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today, I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that happened to me yesterday in relating to coins. And we're going to talk a little bit about gold, silver. We're going to bring up gold and silver in multiple different currencies today because I recently had someone ask me if I could price it in loons, and then that next day or a couple days later I had someone say, how about doing it in pesos? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about two big things going on right now that I think will have a big impact on gold and silver. One of them being the government shutdown. The second one being the Golden Week, where a lot of the financial markets in China are closed from the 1st of the month until the 8th of the month. And I think after that, we could be off to the races again for the next leg higher. So we'll see how that's going to play out. We never did see that big dip. However, like I said, it could happen up to 48 hours after the quarter ended. So that would mean that the new quarter is already technically starting, which means we'll see what happens. I think if anything's going to happen, this is it, because we're not going to have China open to be ready to buy and pick up as much silver as they can. So we'll see how this is going to play out. I'm super excited about today's video. I'm super excited to tell you guys some of the stories that happen in the penny hunting, I guess you can say. I actually did a video yesterday. I was surprised more people didn't watch this. It kind of had a low turnout on the views. I talked a lot about copper, talked a lot about gold, silver, platinum. Two of those metals we talk about every day. The other two have been asked a lot of different times, and I even gave my ultimate secret on how you guys can make a ton of money, in my opinion, off of pennies. And some of the comments that I got were pretty awesome. I might talk a little bit about a couple of those comments that came up in that video. If you didn't watch it, I strongly suggest you go and watch it because time is running out, and I'll be honest, I didn't even realize how little time we have. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. If you enjoyed today's video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button, help me out, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts on anything that we talk about. If you got suggestions for videos, whatever, I love to hear them, love to read them, and I love to hear y'all's opinions. So before we even get started, let's talk about what I did yesterday. So yesterday, I ended up making my video probably about 2 a.m., and it was on what someone had asked me about, buying copper rounds. And yes, in short, I think copper is going to continue to go up. I gave my ultimate secret on how I think you'll be able to score a ton of money. I showed you proof of that. I showed you guys reference, even though I hate talking about that secret. Why? Because when I tell friends, they laugh at me. Although this community probably not going to laugh as much because this community is a little more open to what is really going on. Some of my friends are extremely closed-minded, and they just see pennies as essentially just a penny and a waste. Even one lady at the bank, so I ended up going to 8 different banks and asked for pennies yesterday. And it was kind of crazy because one lady, she just, first she said yes, and then she's like, well, for some reason, people have been buying pennies, so I can only sell you this many right now. We don't have a whole lot on hand. And I said, I'll take the $15. I'll take whatever I can get. And so I ended up taking that. But the lady's telling me, I don't understand what the big deal is. And I said, well, some people that collect coins want to get their set. It's something you can do with family. It's something fun. It's something educational. It's something that's just a good, enjoyable hobby, collecting coins. And I said, you have an opportunity to get these pennies before they're sold out, essentially. And that's why I think people are buying them, maybe. And, I don't go too much into detail. It's just like, it just sounds dumb to me. It's stupid that people would waste their money on pennies and this and that. And, it literally drives me nuts when I talk to people. And I almost said something that might have not gotten my pennies based on her hair color. I shouldn't say that, but it went through my head for a minute. I really dislike it when someone says that something is stupid or dumb, and they have no clue what they're even talking about. You know, I explained yesterday what the deal was with the pennies in that video, and definitely check out that copper round video. And yeah, I said copper rounds, but I gave you guys some really good tricks. And in that video, I had a couple comments in there. Somebody made a comment that said Bank of America has limited how many pennies you can buy. And at first, I looked at the comment and I said, did that person hear that from someone on YouTube, or did they actually find that out? And so I'll be honest, I didn't put a ton of stock into it until I went to all these different banks and talked to them. Some banks still don't know what's going on. Some banks are already feeling the pressure. They're disappearing. One bank point blank told me that, hey, I can only give you $5. They were the bank that was the worst bank. They said, and it's funny because I've always done really well with them. I've always gotten to buy whatever. And they said their new strategy that came down from corporate, they're not getting rid of any pennies anymore. Nothing is getting sent back. They will simply hold all pennies that come in from customers, and they will continue business as usual. Nothing is going up. They said it could get difficult to be able to order them. And so they said, limit how many customers can buy. If they're a business member, we can give them a little leeway. If they're just an everyday schmo like myself, nope, limit it. Some banks, like I said, no limit. They didn't care. And I'll probably even try to get with a couple more banks throughout the week and maybe even next week and see what I can do, because I really think pennies are going to do really well. I think you're going to have a lot of opportunity. I think whether they're zinc, whether they're copper, they're going to go up in value. Whether they are collectible, people are going to want to search through them. There's going to be a lot of opportunity with pennies. And if you pick them up now, I think you'll do well. The next thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to go through the prices, and then we'll get into the government shutdown and the golden week here in just a minute. So taking a quick look at the silver price here in the United States, we have spot price right now at $46.93. We've seen a nice jump earlier, and then we've seen it pull back just a little bit. I'm not really stressing this at all. This is short-term movement. It's just noise. I'm in it for the long haul, although I was getting a little excited again seeing it up to 47.60. However, that climb also made me a little nervous because it'd be nice to pick up a little bit more. We always want to pick up a little bit more. I got lucky. I picked up some stuff the other day. Someone needed some money, sold me some stuff at 43. And probably a week before that, I ended up picking a little bit of stuff up at 40, when technically it went down to like 41.50, and that might be the lowest that we see in a while. I don't know. I mean, I still have hopes that we might see a pullback, but I don't know if it's even possible now. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially with the shutdown. We're going to get to that in a minute. Taking a quick look at the gold price, we got gold trading right now at $38.62. Continuing to slowly climb up. Gold and silver, they don't always go in tandem with each other. However, a lot of times they do. Right now, we're seeing both metals up a little bit. Taking a quick look at the silver price and the gold price in loons. We have right now 47 loons for 1 ounce of silver. Is that loon? Oh, no, it didn't. It changed it. Hold up. Someone in Canada right now is watching that and be like, the heck it is. Hold on here. Canadian dollar right there. Oof. Someone in Canada was like, I wish it was that in Canadian money. But no, it's not. I don't know how that got changed on me, if I refreshed it and didn't catch it or what. Where is it? Where did it go? There it is. And that's more like it. I knew as soon as I read that, I was like, wait a minute, that ain't right. Okay, so in Canadian money, we have silver trading at 65.41, continuing its climb higher. We've got gold trading at 5,375 loon. Up significantly. A lot of people telling me that these prices are essentially all-time highs. We're seeing all-time highs in these in almost every currency. And now, we're not seeing silver in U.S. dollars yet, but I think that's right around the corner, the way it's been going up. And as requested, how about in pesos? 860 pesos for 1 ounce of silver. That is a shocker. So pretty cool there, though, as it is continuing to climb. We have gold at 70,707 pesos. Here's the thing. When currencies collapse and get devalued, these numbers will only get higher. Let's take a look. I'm curious, since it's not something I'll always do, but let's just check the Venezuelan Bolivar, if I have it here. Venezuelan Bolivar. I'm curious. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Nope. What just happened? I saw it. Hold on. I just want to know, since we talk so much about Venezuela, I think it would be cool to see what it is in Venezuela right now. I'm having a hard time getting on it, so bear with me a little, just for a minute. Vietnamese, Venezuela. Unless I'm not going to, maybe I won't even be able to get it for some reason. If it doesn't come up, I'm giving up. I'm not going to keep everybody sitting here waiting. Yeah, it's not coming up. I don't know why. Oh, well. Moving on, taking a quick look at, I'll have it tomorrow, I think, because I'm curious. We've got Bitcoin right now trading at, I'm going to refresh that, 114,609. Doing a decent job holding its spot. Taking a quick look at the top 10 assets right now. We have gold, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, or Google, silver, Amazon, and Bitcoin. And we'll say Facebook, I guess, just to put it in there. Only because there's not a huge gap, but we'll see. With that being said, still got silver right there. I was actually watching a video this evening explaining how silver and gold, 55% of all the value in the top 10. Kind of interesting there when you think about it, that it has that much value, that 55% between those two. So it's pretty good. I think silver is going to keep doing well. I still, like I said, I like gold. I like a lot of other stuff. I just think silver is the best potential. I'm actually wanting to trade. I don't want to sell. I'd like to trade some of my gold, pick up some more silver if I can find the right deal. I'm not willing to take a loss on the silver and then pay a premium on the gold. But if I can find someone that would do straight up even, it might be worth it if I can find that. There's still a lot of people out there that like gold right now. In fact, I talked to some people, they prefer gold. And at 82 to 1, it's not as bad as it was. A lot of people were trading silver for gold, gold for silver at 100 to 1. So we'll see how that will play out. Taking a quick look at the DXY. Got to see where that stands right now. 97.65. Not really doing much movement. It was pretty much there in yesterday's video. Taking a quick look at the debt, obviously extremely high. We've got it at $37,548,000,000,000, and thus leading to the government shutdown. We can barely afford to pay our bills, what we owe, the interest, and really no end in sight. And by now, if you haven't heard about it, it is official. The government has shut down last night at midnight on the East Coast. And, these shutdowns, they drive me nuts. They really do. Not because I'm worried about anything major going on, but because these people, I feel like, hey, they're getting a break, essentially. Because if you go to a shutdown, you don't have to go to work the next morning. That's not the problem. The problem is they're still going to get paid for it. They just got to wait. And I'm like, how is that fair? I mean, how many of us would like a paid vacation? I mean, shoot, if that's the case, let's just do a 6-month paid vacation. I don't think the government will be shut down that long, but it does upset me when that happens. But on the flip side, it freaks out a lot of people. And when people get freaked out, what is the first thing they do? They start worrying, and they do sometimes move into gold and silver. And I've seen that happen during the last shutdown, where I talked to one guy. He literally flooded all of his money into silver. And then when the shutdown was over, he felt like everything got better. And as time went on, he ended up selling his position at $39. So he ended up buying it at 29. He sold it at 39. But here we are now even higher. And 39 was not that long ago. And so I find that really interesting. I actually talked to someone. We were talking about that. And I just kind of disagree. I just can't understand how someone would buy an insurance policy and then just get rid of it. Why not just hold it? And I think silver and gold is going to go a whole lot higher. But I think a lot of people are just going to be missing the boat because they can't see long term. They have short term mindset. But we'll see how this plays down, how long this will play out for, this shutdown. I'll be shocked if it lasts a month. I think they'll probably settle it up within a couple weeks, I hope. But we'll see. Obviously, like I said, it does put fear in the economy. It puts fear in the markets. I'm really excited to see what happens in the stocks tomorrow, how that will play out, if we will see major fear. Back to, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Golden Week in China. Obviously, everybody knows the U.S. banks heavily in manipulating gold and silver. We've been having a lot of countries outside the U.S. start taking advantage of that opportunity and using those pullbacks or those manipulation down to acquire more. I can't help to wonder if they won't play this out a little bit this week and try to drive the price down because it is the holiday. A lot of the financial sectors in China are closed down until the 8th. And if that's the case, who knows how this will play out. It doesn't really give them a good opportunity. I doubt they're going to call everybody in and say, hey, we got to buy up this dip. If a dip even comes. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of strength right now in gold and silver. However, I think we are out of the woods when China comes back online on the 8th. If you guys remember what happened last year, as soon as they came back online, we seen gold make a run. So I can't help to wonder if the same thing is going to happen this year that happened last year. As soon as the markets open, boom, they started buying. And we had beat it down for the whole week almost. We kept seeing it come down. So we'll see what happens and how that plays out. Not a super long video, I guess, today. Let me take a look how long we've been talking. 17 minutes, kind of a short video. I know a lot of people like the longer videos. However, some days I got a lot to talk about, and other days I just don't have as much to talk about. But we'll see how this will play out. I didn't really pick a lot up yet. I have been waiting for the dip, obviously, and we may not see it. Am I okay? I'm going to be okay no matter what. I have some silver already. I have some gold already. And so if nothing happens, that's okay. For people, though, I've always said this, for people out there that don't have any and they're on the sidelines waiting, I would not wait too long to try to pick some up. I think the opportunity, this is not financial advice, just my opinion. I think the opportunity is slowly running out. And we're going to see how this is going to play out because there's a lot going on around the world. Potential escalations in the Middle East, potential escalations with multiple different countries. And I think eventually, I think that's really why they're all buying gold and silver. And eventually something is going to happen and we will probably see gold and silver outright catapult unless the U.S. just revalues it before then. And that's a possibility, too, that I've talked about a little bit, but we'll see how that will play out. With that being said, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you hit the thumbs up. If you didn't check out yesterday's copper video, I highly recommend you check that video out. It might seem a little dry in the beginning. However, in the end, I did give my ultimate secret to what I believe will give you an awesome opportunity to make some money, possibly even get some free silver out of the deal if you're willing to trade up, I guess you can say. But we'll see how this is going to play out, like I said. And then I also want to confirm that, yes, next year is the 250th anniversary. And that's why I think now they're not just going to make regular pennies. I think they're going to have a special penny for the 250-year anniversary. It looks like they're going to redesign the nickel, the dime, the quarter, and have special stuff for the whole year. It could be something just like a... Remember, how many of y'all remember the... So we were buying the W... We were looking for the W quarters, but then they had the... What did they call it? The memorial mark, the war mark... 75-year anniversary or something. I can't remember what it was. That really people were trying to get the coins with that marking on them. And so I can't help to wonder if they'll just put something, use the same coin, end up putting a 250th mark on there for the anniversary. I really wonder if we'll still have nickels made out of the same composite. I talked to one person, but I didn't talk to. I was reading some comments from one person that said, I don't keep a lot of people like to have a cash reserve on hand. I'm not really a big fan of that. I'd rather have my money making money for me. He had left a comment saying he's got like 20 boxes of nickels as his $2,000 reserve. And I think that actually is a good thing to have. I actually have a good fair amount of nickels on standby. I hadn't thought of that as my cash reserve. If some major event happened, I can tell you I would cash them in a minute. Probably a day, because I probably want to spend the day looking through them. I haven't even looked through them yet for silver nickels, because I actually talked to one friend that he hunts nickels, and he said out of the last box he hunted, he found like 8 or 10 of them, which is not a lot, I'll be honest, to go through them, but it's still free silver. And a lot of people take for granted. Now, here's the thing. With a silver quarter or a silver dime or a silver half, you can spot those in a minute, real quick. However, with the nickels, if you don't really know the tricks, you might have to be looking a little harder. You can't just glance at it and tell right off unless you know what you're looking for. The mint mark above the Montecito, I don't know if I said that right, Monticello, that's what I do. I'll flip all of the nickels tails to the tail side, and then I'll just look above the Monticello. And I know I didn't say that word right, but... So it's something worth doing, but I don't really go through my nickels or my pennies right now. I'm just waiting. Soon, you won't even be able to get them anymore. It's nice to have unsearched coins that you can trade off to someone. It was kind of funny because one of the lots that I had gotten, I glanced real quick at what they had given me, and I seen a bunch of what looked like copper enders. And then when I looked a little closer at one of them, it had a wheat ender. And so I got super excited over that. So I'm hoping I might have tagged a collection drop and maybe get some good copper coins, maybe even some nice Wheaties. We'll see how that plays out. I'll definitely keep you all posted. So with that being said, please leave me a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Definitely check out that copper video. I think you'll really like it. So take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.